the prayer of Sagittarius against everything that delays your life. There are mornings when you wake up feeling like you are repeating the same old day. Everything stands still, and your soul feels suspended in midair. You don't know why, but you clearly feel that something is holding you back. Unfinished plans, dreams hanging in limbo, opportunities that seemed so close but mysteriously slipped through your fingers. It's not because you haven't tried hard enough. It's not because you lack ability. It's because there are unseen forces silently delaying your progress. Things that can't be seen with the naked eye but are felt deeply in your soul. It could be the negative energy from others. Jealousy, gossip, karmic burdens from the past, or even the fears within you pulling back all that is good. And if you are a Sagittarius, or carry the spirit of Sagittarius, freedom, ideals, courage, and defiance, then today's prayer is the message the universe is sending you. A prayer not born from books or rituals, but from an ancient calling echoing within your very soul. It will help you fight against all invisible forces that are holding back your life journey. Stay until the end and listen fully, because what you're about to hear is not just a series of words. It is a spiritual awakening. If you are ready to break every chain of stagnation holding back your destiny, write in the comments, "I choose to free my life from all delays." That comment is not just a declaration, but a way to connect with the sacred energy waiting to be awakened within you. If this touches your heart, share this video so the light can be spread, so that many other souls can also be healed, just like you. Sagittarius and the invisible delay, a destiny bound. On the journey of over 50 years observing destinies through birth charts, I have met not only successful people, but also beautiful souls who had been stolen away from their own lives. The wealthy, the poor, those with voices in the crowd, and those quiet souls who rarely revealed anything. But there is a very clear common thread among them, something that has haunted me for years. Even with good starting points, even with faith and clear will, many are still held back by an invisible force. People who should have soared, broken through, and lived the life they envisioned, but remain stuck in days of stagnation, slowness, fatigue, and endless cycles. It's not because they lacked luck. It's not simply because they didn't try. It's because something is quietly postponing their lives. An invisible pull. A heavy energy. A curse they are completely unaware of. I will never forget a Sagittarius woman I met during an energy healing session more than 2 decades ago. She had everything: intelligence, a kind heart, and boundless ambition. She always said she was born to do something great, not for herself but for others, for the world. Yet for 10 years, she repeated the same short journey, a brilliant idea, a powerful start, and then everything mysteriously stopped. Friends distanced themselves. Projects were delayed. Finances dwindled. Health gradually declined. And every time she started again, everything would collapse as if an invisible hand was extinguishing the light within her. And then, she began to doubt herself. As if God were holding her back. But when I looked at her birth chart, I didn't see God holding her back. I saw a Sagittarius trapped by an energy that didn't belong to her, but had attached itself to her without her realizing. In astrology, Sagittarius symbolizes the traveler, the conqueror, the bringer of light. Ruled by Jupiter, the planet of luck, expansion, and faith, Sagittarius is born with a heart full of aspiration and a spirit always moving forward. But because they are blessed with such freedom, every time they are held back, it's unlike anyone else. For them, stagnation isn't just a slowdown. It's pain. The pain of not being able to fly. Not being able to cross borders. Not being able to do what their soul committed to before stepping into this lifetime. When Jupiter is in retrograde, or when the 12th house in the birth chart is activated, Sagittarius may fall into a state of not knowing they are stuck. They will still smile. Still dream. But inside, part of them feels like they're living in a maze. They call it the preparation phase. But the truth is, they've been ready for a long time. It's just that something is clouding their light. Jealous energy from others. Slander behind their back. Ancestral fears passed down. Or even an unconscious curse from a past life. All of these can be invisible chains that prevent them from moving forward. My perspective is this. No one is permanently delayed unless they refuse to recognize it. All stagnation, no matter how logical it seems, ultimately has one root cause. An unawakened soul. You can blame the economy, the market, or others not understanding you. But at a deeper level, your soul is sending a signal. There is something that needs to be healed. Something that needs to be released. A power waiting to be called forth. Prayer, to me, is never the act of the weak. On the contrary, it is the brave choice of souls mature enough to admit, I cannot walk this path alone. It is the way that you, a Sagittarius, raise your bow to the sky and shoot a powerful message. I am ready. Open the door for me. And the universe, the divine, the beings of light, they will never ignore such a call. If it comes from a truly sincere heart. The deepest lesson I have learned from all healing journeys is this. No delay ever happens randomly. It always carries a sacred message. And those who are patient enough to listen, will be the first to be set free. If you are feeling like something unknown is holding you back, don't just try to push harder. Pause and ask your soul, what is binding me that I haven't yet seen? Remember, light doesn't come from running faster. It comes from stopping and asking to be shown the way. The statement that has touched me most deeply in my astrological journey is this. Every time your soul feels stuck, it is because it is about to enter a new cycle of transformation. So if you feel that everything is slowing down, if you are doubting yourself, know this. You are not wrong. You are not late. You are simply standing before a sacred gate, waiting for you to knock with a prayer. And if any part of what I've just said resonates with your heart, write in the comments. I choose to free my life from all delays. Not for me to see, but for you to witness your own commitment to your destiny. A declaration written at the right moment can become the spark that lights the path for your soul. If this feels meaningful to you, share this video with someone who may be feeling stuck in life. Who knows, you might be the one to bring light to them. And remember, you, Sagittarius, were not born to be delayed. You were born to break ground. And that journey begins with believing that all stagnation can be broken. If you are brave enough to ask for the light to lead you. Prayer, the path of Sagittarius toward sacred freedom. I have always believed that there are two kinds of freedom in this world. One is the physical freedom that you can perceive with your eyes, ears, hands, and feet, the things you can do, the places you can go, the words you can speak. But the other, more important, more subtle, and more profound, is inner freedom. It is the feeling that you are no longer restrained by fear, by the past, or by the negative voices in your mind. That is the kind of freedom you can only possess when you truly connect with the most sacred part of yourself. And the miracle is, prayer is the path to that kind of freedom. I'm not talking about prayer as a dry religious ritual or a string of words repeated out of habit. I'm talking about real prayer, the whisper from your heart sent up to the heavens when you've let go of all excuses. All armor, all pretending to be okay. Prayer doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to be beautiful. It doesn't need to follow a formula. It only needs to be true. And you will be surprised to learn that, in the moments when you are the weakest, when all you have left is faith, that is when the universe listens to you the most. Sagittarius, with all your light, with your heart always moving forward, sometimes you forget the value of stillness. You are often caught up in the journey of expansion, expanding knowledge, experiences, career, wealth, relationships? But not always remembering that the soul, too, needs to expand. And the soul is only truly freed when it is nourished by faith, by a deep connection with something beyond logic, beyond the ego, beyond personal plans. That is where prayer enters. Prayer, for Sagittarius, is not an act of escape. It is a conscious act of opening the spiritual door, calling out in the darkness, and believing that light will answer. It is the moment you admit, I don't have to do everything alone. And it is in that moment that miracles begin to happen. I still remember a man in his 50s, also a Sagittarius, who came to me during the time he was on the verge of bankruptcy. A successful businessman who had once run a chain of stores across the state. Now facing mounting debts, a crumbling marriage, and a child he no longer knew how to talk to. When I asked him if he still believed in anything sacred, he cried. Not because he lost his faith, but because he forgot he ever had it. We didn't talk much during that first session. We simply sat in silence, and he prayed. A simple prayer, full of tears, but so sincere that the entire room seemed to light up. And from that day on, his life began to change. Not immediately, but bit by bit, as if some invisible hand was gently untying the cords that had wrapped around his destiny. The lesson I learned from him, and from hundreds of other Sagittarians, is this. Every delay can be dissolved when you dare to pray from the heart. Not just to ask for something in return, but to give up control, to give up ego, to give up the pride that says you can do everything on your own. Prayer is an act of surrender, but also an act of opening. When you pray, you are telling the universe, I believe in a force greater than myself. And I am ready to be guided. Astrologically speaking, when Sagittarius connects with the energy of prayer, they activate the highest realm of Jupiter. Not just the good fortune in the outer world, but the divine protection of luminous spiritual beings. Those with strong Sagittarius energy, or with Jupiter in the 9th house, 12th house, 1st house, are even more able to connect with this stream of energy. But the prerequisite is that they must stop. They must acknowledge that if they are still being held back, they may have left part of their soul behind along the way. The sentence I often say to my students is, the soul does not need to be rescued. It just needs to be heard. And you hear your soul most clearly when you pray. You don't have to wait until everything collapses. Pray right when you feel your life is slowing down. Don't let delay become destiny. Let it be a reminder that you need a new door, and prayer is the key. I don't know what you're facing right now. You may be struggling financially, or in a relationship that has long gone cold. You may be under pressure from family, work, age, illness. Or maybe, you simply feel like you are no longer yourself. Whatever it is, know this, it is never too late to begin a prayer. And Sagittarius, in your original essence, always has a strong connection to faith. You may have forgotten that. But it's still there, like a small flame, just waiting for you to rekindle. If you feel that this touches a part of your soul, take a moment to be still, close your eyes, and say your first prayer in your own language. It doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. And if you want to make it even more powerful, write in the comments, I choose to rekindle the sacred flame within me. That is not just a written statement. It is an energetic act of vibration. And you will see, when your soul begins to shine, nothing in this world can delay you any longer. The prayer against stagnation, more than just words. O Creator, the one who lit the first flame in my soul. The one who placed in my heart the desire to reach far, to surpass all limits, and to live true to the sacred calling written before I was even born. Today, I return. Not in weakness, but in awakening. Not to escape, but to confront. Not to ask for something from the world, but to reclaim the original light that belongs to me. which has been obscured by stagnation, by darkness, by invisible forces I cannot even name. I know there are things that cannot be seen with the naked eye, yet still dictate the rhythm of my life each day. Lingering doubts. Delayed dreams. Times when I thought I was preparing, but in truth, I was hiding. Something won't let me move forward. Something is gripping my feet, even though reason has laid out a clear path. Today, in humility and honesty, I no longer deny this. I no longer want to fight alone. I am tired of struggling without knowing what is fighting against me. And now, I choose to pray, not just with words, but with the entirety of my presence in this moment. O Divine, if there are any curses, from the present or from past lives, overshadowing my journey, please break them right now. If there is any negative energy, from others, from ancestral karma, from hatred I unknowingly gave or received, holding back my destiny, please burn it away with your light. If there are any invisible cords, of fear, of disappointment, of old wounds, strangling my faith and progress, please cut them with your heavenly sword. I do not ask to avoid trials. I only ask for inner freedom to walk through them with the heart of an awakened soul. I do not ask for ease. I only ask to release what does not belong to me, so I may live fully in the truth you placed within me from the very beginning. May your light shine into every corner within me that has been covered in dust, limiting beliefs, self-denial, procrastinating habits masked as preparation. Please return me to the rightful state of a flame bearer, the bearer of truth, of mission, of hope. Please remind me that the Sagittarius soul within me has never been a prisoner of fate. It has only been waiting to be awakened. O Jupiter, the path opener, the symbol of blessing and greatness, I ask that your energy cloak me like a radiant robe. Help me break through every wall blocking my light. Help me see what I have refused to see. Reignite within me the desire to move forward, to go far, to live expansively, to live truthfully, as I once knew, as I once lived, as I once dreamed. O my soul, if there is any part of you still asleep, still silent, still afraid, please rise. Speak to me what my heart has longed to hear. Say, I am no longer willing to live in the dark. Say, I was not born to live quietly. Say, I will not allow anything to delay the birth of the light within me. O Lord, I once thought I had to be strong to keep going. But now I understand, I must be set free to walk rightly. Please release me from old cycles. Please release me from relationships that no longer nourish my soul. Please release me from responsibilities that no longer belong to my mission. Please release me from chaos and confusion, so I can return to primal clarity, to the voice of intuition, to the vision of a soul no longer confined by time, age, or circumstance. I no longer want to delay living true to my destiny. I no longer want to make excuses to remain in the comfort zone. I no longer want to befriend waiting. I want to live. Live truly. Live fully. Live freely, as a soul-bearing Sagittarius energy was born to live. O Divine, please clear the path. Not because I cannot cross it, but because I choose to walk in your companionship. Please send the angels of light, the protective spirits, the sacred signs, to lift me each time I stumble, to remind me that I am on the right path. And if there is anything in me that still hesitates, doubts, or turns back, please ignite in my heart a flame that never dies. A flame of faith. A flame of action. A flame strong enough to burn away every delay and light the way for new beginnings. Today, in this very moment, I declare to the universe, to myself, to all dimensions of energy and motion, I will delay no more. I am ready to open the door. I am ready to act. I am ready to receive the destiny you have set aside for me, without hesitation, without fear, without turning back. If I ever forgot who I was, today I remember, I am light. I am hope. I am the one who brings fire to the world. And nothing, no one, no energy has the right to delay that, unless I allow it. But today, I no longer allow it. I thank you, because even when I cannot see, you are still guiding me. I thank you, because even when I am silent, you still listen. I thank you, because even when I am stagnant, my soul has never left the journey. May this prayer be the first wave that shakes open the door of delay. May the energy of action, of light, of transformation begin here. And for those who are listening to this prayer and are also stuck in life, place your hand on your heart and say, I choose to free myself from this very moment. I choose to live true to my great destiny. And write those words below in the comments as a confirmation to the universe. I delay no more. I step into my life, starting today. Because sometimes, just one sentence can open a door you thought was closed forever. Decoding the energy of delay through astrology. One of the gifts that astrology offers humanity is not the ability to predict the future, but the ability to illuminate the inner self, helping us understand why the things we are going through are happening exactly the way they are. Nothing is random. Every delay, every closed door, every slowed step is marked, quietly but clearly, on the soul map of your life. And that map, in astrology, is the birth chart, your personal astrological chart. With over 50 years of experience studying thousands of birth charts, I can tell you with certainty that stagnant energy does not always come from external sources. Many times, it comes from the very arrangement of the planets at the moment you were born. That does not mean you are bound by destiny. On the contrary, realizing that is the first step to freeing yourself from invisible limitations. Let's begin with one of the primary factors that causes delay in a birth chart, Saturn. In astrology, Saturn is not inherently negative. It symbolizes structure, profound lessons, and maturity. But when Saturn resides in positions such as the 1st house, 6th house, 10th house, or especially the 12th house, and when Saturn forms a square or opposition with the Sun, Moon, or Jupiter, it can create a long-term zone of stagnation. People with this placement often feel they must pay a price or overcome invisible trials before achieving what they want. Sometimes they have to put in 3 times the effort of others and still see no results. They tend to doubt themselves. They are easily trapped within the standards set by society or family. And worse, they don't realize they are being spiritually constrained by an unseen structure. Another critical factor is the 12th house, the house of the subconscious, karma, and invisible limits. If your Sun, Jupiter, Venus, or Mars fall into the 12th house, or if the 12th house is ruled by Saturn, Pluto, or Mars, you may unconsciously create unexplainable patterns of delay. Projects that stall halfway. Relationships that repeat the same endings. Moments when you are close to success, only for it to collapse suddenly. All are signs that you need to cleanse the invisible karma binding you. In the Sagittarius chart, what stands out is the relationship between Jupiter, the ruling planet, and delaying planets like Saturn or Pluto. When Jupiter is constrained by tense astrological aspects, the expansive, breakthrough, forward-moving nature of Sagittarius becomes stifled, causing them to fall into a state of knowing what to do, but unable to do it. They feel like a wild horse chained down inside. They dream a lot, but act little. They speak of freedom, but always retreat when real opportunity arrives. And the most heartbreaking part is, they think they lack discipline, instead of recognizing that astrological influences are blocking their energy flow. I remember a client who once shared that he felt as though he had been cut off from the current of success, and didn't know why. When I looked at his birth chart, I saw that his Jupiter was in retrograde and placed in the 12th house, along with an opposition to Saturn. That revealed that his freedom and expansion energy had been suppressed for a long time, possibly over multiple lifetimes. And his journey wasn't just about making money or finding opportunity. It was about liberating his soul from deep-rooted entanglements that he couldn't perceive with his physical eyes. So how do we transform it? I do not believe that astrology is here for us to place blame. I believe astrology is a mirror, reflecting precisely what is operating within us. So we can choose the most fitting way to heal. If you realize that your chart contains stagnant placements, do not be afraid. It doesn't mean you are condemned. It only means that you need spiritual light to dispel the darkness, to unblock the flow, to free your dormant potential. Prayer, meditation, energy work, timeline healing, ancestral cleansing, all are methods that can activate repressed energy. When you do these from a place of sincerity, you will feel a new current beginning to flow. You will realize the world did not change. It is the flow within you that opened. And from there, everything starts to change. For those with Sagittarius energy, remember, you were never born to live in delay. You are a sign of movement, of vision, of the future. If you are being slowed down, it is the universe inviting you to look deeper within yourself, not to abandon the journey. You do not need to understand every astrological concept. You only need to recognize this. If something is blocking your path, it can be dissolved. And if you are hearing this now, perhaps your soul is ready to remove the final chain. Write in the comments below, I choose to release the stagnant energy within me. I step into the new flow. That is an opening statement, an act of connection to higher energy realms, to let the universe know you are ready. And if you feel this has meaning, share it with someone who is feeling lost on their path. Be the one who rekindles the light in their soul, just as you are rekindling it within your own. The action ritual, activating the bow of Sagittarius. After everything you've heard, perhaps the question you're asking yourself is, what should I do now? After all the prayers, after the truths illuminated by the birth chart, how can I move forward without falling back into the days of suppression like before? The answer lies within you. But I will share a simple ritual, not elaborate, not demanding complex ceremonies. Only requiring the presence of your heart, the honesty of your soul, and a commitment. A commitment to live aligned with your destiny from this moment onward. Prepare a blank sheet of paper, a pen, a candle, if possible. Choose a white or purple one, symbolizing purification and transformation. Set aside a time during the day, without interruptions, without noise, just you and yourself. You can sit at a table, on the floor, or anywhere you feel safest. Turn off your phone. Breathe deeply. And begin. On that paper, write down everything you feel is delaying your life. Write as if you're talking to a lifelong friend, no hiding. No rationalizing, no excuses. Be honest. It could be a relationship that prevents you from moving forward. It could be the lack of confidence you've carried since childhood. It could be an unhealed memory. A word someone once said to you, which you've carried like a burden for decades. Write everything. Let the words flow like water, because you're not just writing. You're releasing. Once you're done, place your hand on the paper and say in your heart, or out loud if you're ready, I release all of this from my life. I choose freedom. I choose to move forward. In that moment, you are no longer someone being delayed. You have become someone who actively cuts the cord holding you back. And when you're ready, burn the paper under the candlelight, or tear it into small pieces and let it flow in running water. This action is not just symbolic. It carries real energetic vibration. When you do it with full faith, you create an energetic ripple, reminding the universe that you are fully ready. This ritual, though small, can mark a major turning point. Because energy only shifts when you act from a new state of awareness. And this is the difference between a fleeting promise and a soul-level covenant. Sagittarius, the zodiac sign symbolized by the archer, was not born to stand still. They were born to act, to move forward, to shoot their arrow into the future with the absolute belief that it will hit its mark. If you are a Sagittarius, or if you have Jupiter, the 9th house, or Sagittarius strongly placed in your chart, you are the soul chosen to live a life without limits. But sometimes, your arrow is shaken by the wind, by the words of others, by memories you haven't yet forgiven. Do not worry. You still have the bow in your hands. And today, you can raise it once more, this time, with guiding light and a purified heart. You may feel you are not ready. But remember, every journey begins with the first step. And this ritual is your first step. You don't need to know everything. You only need to know that you no longer accept delay. You choose to live. You choose to be present. You choose to step out of the darkness and into the radiant life waiting for you. If you feel these words are meaningful, write in the comments below. I choose to shoot the arrow of my life into the light. I will no longer delay. It is not just a statement. It is a commitment. An action that shakes the energy of the universe. A declaration that you are ready to step into the life you truly deserve. And if you know someone who is living in stagnation, repeating the same cycle and unable to escape, share this video with them. Become the bearer of light. Because perhaps, you will be the reason they rediscover their faith. Perhaps you will be the one who knocks on the door for them. So they can see that the light never disappeared, they just needed someone to remind them. I believe every soul has a moment of awakening. And if you're hearing this now, perhaps that moment for you is now. No need to wait any longer. No need to wait for things to be perfect. Just believe that you are worthy, and that is enough. Live like a true Sagittarius, brave, sincere, strong, unbounded by darkness or the words of others. Shoot your spiritual arrow into the future you once thought was out of reach. And trust that destiny never delays a soul that dares to rise and move forward.